Hi you guys, so in today's video I'm going to be talking about what I consider to be the top 10 Disney rides in Disney parks globally. The only park that I'm not going to be talking about is Disneyland Paris because that's the only park in the whole world that I have not been to. So I'm sure there are amazing rides there that would totally make it on this list, but I have not personally gone on them, so I don't have an opinion on them, so I'm not going to talk about them. But please, if you've been there, let me know in the comments down below what are the must-do rides there, because I will get there eventually. So starting off at number 10, we have a very popular ride that I'm sure many of you have been on. It's in a number of Disney parks, but I am highlighting the one in Hollywood Studios in Walt Disney World in Orlando, and that is Tower of Terror. Now, the one in Hollywood Studios is by far the best because it's an actual ride. Like, you get in the elevator, yes, you go up, but then you actually go out of the elevator shaft. You see all these scenes and just, it's incredible, and then all of a sudden you're back in an elevator shaft and you drop. Whereas all the other ones that I've been on, you're on the elevator, you go up, you see a little thing, and then you drop, and you go up and down a couple times, and that's it. But the one in Hollywood Studios is a longer ride, it's more immersive, it's incredible. We'll see how the Guardians of the Galaxy one is going to compare once that opens in Anaheim. So my fingers are crossed for it because I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I know it's kind of an unpopular opinion, but I'm quite excited about it. So we'll see. For number 9, we are going to travel to Tokyo Disney. We are going to go on one of the most popular rides, maybe quite possibly the most popular ride in Tokyo Disneyland, and that is Pooh's Honey Hut. Now, yet again, there are Pooh's Honey Huts in a lot of different parks, but the one in Tokyo stands out as the best. It is trackless, which means you can't see the track, and you would think that's not that big of a deal, but it really is. It adds such a dimension of just fun and magic and confusion to that ride, especially when you go into the Heffalumps and Woozles section of the ride, because there's all these other honey pots going around, and you're going and you're spinning and you're going to all these places and you look like you're gonna hit them, but you're not, and you don't know where you're going, and it's just craziness and magical and whoop-dee and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It's really fun, and yeah, you can see why it's so popular, and the queue is always like 10 miles long for that ride. Now we're gonna go back to Walt Disney World, and for number 8, I'm talking about the Dinosaur ride in Animal Kingdom. Now, I wasn't a huge fan of the Dinosaur movie, but I'm a huge fan of dinosaurs in general, and I really wish that the Jurassic Park ride at Universal Studios was like the dinosaur ride in Animal Kingdom. It is just pure adrenaline and fun and immersive. Oh my gosh, I could go on that ride all day long. It is so cool. You're in a, like, Jeep thing. It's very similar to Indiana Jones, in the fact that you're like driving through the wilderness and there's animatronics and noises and lights and blah. If you liked the movie Dinosaur, then you will freaking poop your pants because it is so good. But if you're like me and the movie was just meh, you will like it more because of the ride, if that makes sense. And I actually picked that ride over Expedition Everest, which I know is probably not a very popular opinion, but to me, it's head and shoulders above Expedition Everest. Now we're gonna go back to Tokyo. I promise I have more parks in there coming later. But we're gonna go to DisneySEA this time, and I am talking about Journey to the Center of the Earth. Now this is a completely unique ride to Tokyo DisneySEA. It's not found anywhere else in the world, and that just makes it super unique. The animatronic dragon creature at the end of this ride is probably the best animatronic I've ever seen in my life. I tried really hard to get it captured when I was there on my video camera, but the stupid camera wouldn't focus on it, so unfortunately I don't have very good footage of it, but you can Google it. But this ride is so crazy. Obviously it's inspired by the movie, but it is just, I don't even really have the proper words to express how cool this ride is. It has basically everything that you would want in a cool Disney ride. The only thing I would say that I'm not a huge fan of is this ride is super loud, like abnormally loud. I remember when I went on it as like an 11-year-old, I thought it was really loud, and then I went back again when I was 25, and I was still like that the whole time. Like, it's really loud. So it's the only gripe I have with it. All right, now we are off to Disney California Adventure to go on Radiator Springs Racers in Cars Land. Now this is one of those, it's kind of like Dinosaur to me. Like, I'm not a huge Cars fan, Out of Pixar movies, it's one of my least favorites, but Cars Land itself made me love the movie more. Radiator Springs Racers is kind of like a quintessential Disney ride. It has, of course, the amazing theming of a Disney movie, Cars, but then it also has like a little bit of thrill factor because you race at the end, but there's animatronics that are really, really well done. If you're a big fan of Cars, you will lose your mind because it is like literally being put into the movie. It's super authentic, and all your favorite characters are there, and music, and it's very, very West Coast inspired. So if that's where you grew up or you've always dreamed of going there, then this ride kind of like just washes you in the beauty that is the West Coast. So it is an incredible ride, and it's worth waiting in the really long queues. Next ride is one of my all-time favorite Disney rides, and rides in general, and we are going to Shanghai Disneyland for this one, the newest Disney park in the Disney family, and I'm talking about Tron. I don't even remember what the whole name is. Tron Light Cycle Racer something. It has a really long name. It's a coaster, and to be honest, it's the best coaster I've ever been on. It is themed immaculately. If you're a fan of Tron or Tron Legacy, yet again, you will lose your mind because it is so true to the films. There's music, there is lights, there's an awesome track that you're on as, you know, the coaster. There are screens that project like other racers. Like, it is so cool. And then to top it all off, the really, really amazing thing is the actual car that you're in. It's like you're on a motorcycle. You're like leaning forward on this bike, so you're kind of laying down in that Superman position. And then you're going really fast, and there's lights and music and all those things that I just mentioned. It's just so fun. I only wish it was longer because I could go on that ride so over and over and over. I went on it like 6 or 7 times in 2 days. It is beyond. It's beyond. Coming in at number 4 is a very, very popular ride in a number of parks. I can't talk about the best Disney rides without mentioning Soarin'. Soarin' Over the Horizon, now formerly Soarin' Over California, both equally incredible rides. So right now, Soarin' Over the Horizon, which, what it is, you go in, if you've never been on this ride, you go in, there are 3 rows, you get strapped in, and you get lifted up in this really fun way. And if you go on this ride, every single time, I guarantee every single time it lifts you up, the entire room of however many people are on this ride, over 100, everyone goes, even if you've been on it 1,000 times, you still go when it lifts you up. It's so cool. So it lifts you up, and there's this huge screen that's kind of like in this weird bowl spherical thing, and they project you flying over all these world monuments and world famous locations like the Eiffel Tower or the Grand Canyon or the Great Wall of China. So it's supposed to simulate that you are in a hang glider and you're seeing all these amazing places. I am someone who gets really, really motion sick, so I usually don't like motion simulators, but this one doesn't make me sick at all. So I love that. And then on top of that, as a traveler, it sort of does make me sick that I haven't seen all these places for real, but I love seeing them. It's so cool. And there's wind and there's smell-o-vision, and it's so magical, and it's such a unique ride. I've never seen anything like it. Probably because it's probably all copyrighted, so you'll never see anything like it, but it's amazing. Now this next ride holds a very special place in my heart, and it is in Hong Kong Disneyland, and I'm talking about Mystic Manor. Mystic Manor is kind of a cult ride that, you know, a lot of people don't make it to Hong Kong Disneyland because it's one of the smallest of the Disney parks, but everyone kind of knows about Mystic Manor, and that kind of, especially if you're a Disney fanatic, that's kind of like a dream ride. So I can tell you from experience that it is worth all the hype. It's so magical. My all-time favorite classic Disney ride is Haunted Mansion. So Mystic Manor is the Hong Kong Disneyland version of Haunted Mansion. So due to their kind of views on death and the afterlife and everything, they weren't going to make a ghost ride. So they took the ride and they took the kind of the format of the ride and changed the story. So the story is this older gentleman who has traveled all over the world and collected all these artifacts from different adventures, and he's just recently come into possession of a magic music box that when you open it, supposedly the spell makes all inanimate objects come to life. And so his little monkey best friend who goes on all his adventures opens the box, and that happens. So the ride is you going through his house, and all these crazy like suits of armor and different paintings and things like that all come to life. And the animatronics are spot on. They are just so good. And the story itself is so great. Like, one gripe I kind of have with Tokyo is they changed the story of Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, but I personally don't think it's that great of a story. Like, it's just meh, it's fine. It doesn't really add that much to it, but like Mystic Manor, solid story, solid ride, so much fun, so magical, exactly what a Disney ride should be. So, number 3, amazing ride. We're getting to the end. Number 2. Indiana Jones and the Temple of the Crystal Skull. I should have looked this up before I made this video. I think that's what it's called. And I'm speaking specifically for the one in Tokyo. There's also a version in Anaheim, which is a fun, solid ride, but the one in Tokyo is head and shoulders above. And it's almost, I was thinking about it and I was trying to pinpoint what makes it so much better, because they're really similar. And they have a lot of the same scenes and everything, almost identical, but for some reason the one in Tokyo is so much better. I've been on both of them a lot of times, but the one in Tokyo is just, it's a lot better. Some of the animatronics are better. It feels bigger in Tokyo. I don't know why. I don't think it's that much. It might be a little bit longer, but it just, you feel like you're all alone, like you're in like a Jeep type of thing, but you don't really ever see any of the other Jeeps going through, so you feel like you're really on your own. And it's literally, I don't exactly know how to articulate why it's better, but it is. But in general, that's an amazing ride. Even if you don't get to go on the one in Tokyo, make sure you go on the one in Anaheim, because it is an amazing ride. But if you go to Tokyo, make sure you go on the Indiana Jones one there, even if you've been on the one in Anaheim, because it is better. So there you have it. That was a great explanation. I know it's very clear now for you guys. And number 1, drum roll please, is in Shanghai Disneyland. I'm talking about their Pirates of the Caribbean. Y'all, this is the ultimate Disney ride. I love the classic Pirates of the Caribbean. I think it's a great ride, but the one in Shanghai kind of leaves it in the dust, I hate to say. The one in Shanghai is still the same format. You're in a boat and you're going through these scenes, but this boat, not only does it like, it turns and it goes backwards, and there are these huge screens that make you look like you're going underwater and you're falling, and they're really well done, and the sets are so good. And although I have no idea what they're saying, because Captain Jack and Barbossa, they're speaking in Mandarin, I have no doubt that, you know, it's Captain Jack. He's going to be saying something worthwhile, and you can still totally follow the story, whatever is happening. But it's just, I love classic Pirates of the Caribbean, but it's just kind of like, just kind of sit there, oh, nice. But the one in Shanghai is like a proper ride, but it's still like a family Disney ride. Like, anyone can go on it, no matter what age you are. Like, anyone can handle it, but it's still exciting and thrill-seeking for the adults that want a little bit more. And it has a story, and it's inspired by Disney, and it's just everything that a Disney ride should be. And yet again, I was there for 2 days, and I went on it about 6 or 7 times. And I could have gone on it way more. If they had just let me sit and just keep going over and over and over, I would have. I would recommend going to Shanghai Disneyland, if only just to go on this ride and to go on Tron. Just go, just for those 2 rides. You don't have to do anything else, just do those 2. They're incredible. But yes, number 1, Shanghai Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean will blow your mind. So there you have it. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you agree? How would you list your top 10 Disney rides? And yet again, if you've been to Paris, let me know what the awesome rides are there, because I don't know, I haven't been. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I would love to hear your opinions on this. I love talking Disney. Let's geek out together. Talk to you guys soon.